Hello, everybody. Welcome to the YINZER Brothers podcast. I'm TJ. I'm here with my brother Tim, and we are the YINZER Bros. Tim is donning the Franco's Italian Army hard hat from the 70s because the Steelers are coming off another victory. Yes, our Pittsburgh Steelers are rolling. They began their brutal second half of the season with an impressive victory over the nasty Commanders, 28-27. It was a crazy game. Tim, we learned a lot about the Steelers. What were your initial thoughts about the game this Sunday? Tim, first up, at what point were you half naked watching the game because you were just stripping clothes off?
Oh, beginning of the fourth quarter.
Beginning of the fourth quarter.
100%. You guys put me in a mental pretzel the whole game because, I was texting the two nephews and you guys didn't respond to me, and that just made it worse. Like, you didn't say anything. You just say, "Calm down."
I got back late.
Something.
I work on Sundays.
Just say something. I was like, nobody said anything, and I felt like I was like I just felt like. I don't know. I felt abandoned.
By yourself.
I just kept texting. I think I text you guys 20 straight times. I got no response from anybody. I'm like, this sucks. I felt like I was on an island by myself watching that game.
Do a better job. I got back. I didn't get home till like probably. Oh, it was almost the end of the first quarter.
I kicked my wife out of the room multiple times because every time they came in, I was like, "They're doing bad. Get out."
Well, Ted, we all know that it's all dependent on you. Tim, how many of those watermelon bimbos did you eat during the course of that game?
I didn't have any bimbos, TJ. But I will tell you, the lucky position that I found the past couple weeks.
Yeah?
Not a fun position to be in, dude.
What's your lucky position, Tim? By the way, the Harrises, just so you know, from our father on, they would come up with these lucky positions. If you had to be sitting somewhere or you had to be bending down and the Steelers score something, you got to stay that way the whole game. It's a YINZER thing.
I got a big ottoman, like a big square ottoman.
Yeah.
In the corner, I got to sit on the corner, basically with the corner up my butt crack the whole entire time.
So that's the position. That's the victory position.
But I have to feel pain for the position to work.
You have to feel anal pain for the position to work.
I didn't want to say that, but essentially yes. And that went on from about fourth quarter shirtless on.
Tim, you're a true blue YINZER. That's all I'm going to say.
Dude, I was a mental muppet. I thought I was going to shatter the TV when he fumbled at the when Whitney fumbled at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, that was a bad moment. So what did you think of the game? I mean, they were the first big test that we had. We played some decent teams, but the Redskins, were pretty good. Jalen Daniels, he's pretty good.
My complete prediction was absolutely asinine. Blowout. We're going to win 100-0. I'm going.
Now we should have scored more. We kept shooting ourselves in the foot again, but
what did I think? I mean, I don't know, man, because I don't know. I don't know how good Washington is. Still don't know.
Washington is very good.
Are they?
Yeah, you look at their stats and look at everything. Washington is very good.
I don't know.
I think we're going to find out. Washington is playing the Eagles, even as we are taping this right now. I don't know what the score is, but we're going to find out tonight. You're going to find out if the Eagles are for real. You're going to find out if the Redskins are for real.
Washington's winning 7-0 first quarter, so I don't know.
There you go.
Maybe they are, but I don't know. That's a tough game. I don't like those games. I don't like the mix of emotions in those games, dude. I just don't like it.
Tim had a rough week. It's a rough week.
I did. Joey Porter was driving. I did call that. I said Joey Porter was going to be in a blender.
Yeah.
I did, and I was like, he was.
He's kind of handsy. He had some issues, yeah. But how about Patrick Queen? Holy crap!
He looks good. He was shot.
Did you see that one where Daniels tried? He usually gets the corner on that, and I'll tell you what, we saw Queen's elite speed this week. Wow.
Yes. He looked good. Cam Hayward looked like he was 20
Cam
again.
looks ridiculous. And I mean, they're triple teaming Watt. Hey, I'll tell you what, you're talking about that one thing, Jalen fumbles on the one, that next play in the end zone, TJ Watt is held. It should have been a safety. I mean, It just should have been safety. We get the ball back, and then, then it doesn't matter if they get a TD or whatever they get at the end. It's done.
TJ, you should have seen how close my face was to the TV on that Zach Ertz catch when the review was going on. I was 3 centimeters away from the TV, looking at the line like this.
I'm surprised you weren't calling New York, Tim, giving him your 2 cents.
I mean, I think Melissa walked in. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, I'm checking, like trying to seeing if if I can angle my view down the TV line would help anywhere. I'm like, but overall, I mean, it was a good game. They did what they needed to do in a tough place I guess, to play.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of Steeler fans, though, which is crazy.
Yes.
They said 50% Steelers fans. And Tim, we didn't mention this yet. I happen to have one of the guys here that works with me did an internship with the Commanders, and he said that if we wanted to go to the game, he could get us on the field and into the locker room, and I could not get the time off. Tim, we could have been down there. Yeah, that's what happened.
Couldn't I have went with somebody else instead? I would have been down there bouncing around.
Tim, I mean that we could have been down there.
They could have used me. They could have used me.
They could have. Well, how about this? How about Omar? He makes two strategic moves at the trade deadline, and both of those tell me he's not looking like a genius right now.
It's almost like him and Mike T have like a golden touch right now, and it just gets me a little bit nervous, dude. Because
Williams makes that catch.
I'm waiting for something just fall apart. Someone's leg falling off. Something.
And that was good. I mean, the pickup. I mean, you get outside linebacker help, you get wide receiver help, and I'll tell you what. I mean, with the moon balls that RUSS throws, you get those two big receivers, 163, 164. That's pretty scary on either side.
You can't live off that offense, TJ. When you play somebody really good, I can't see them like just winning big games off of moon balls the whole time.
Yeah. Well, no, I hear you, but you know what it does? It opens up everything underneath.
It does. It does.
You know?
It does.
They picked up that other kid, that fast wide receiver again, is on the practice squad. Another, I think he was a Pro Bowl one year, a Pro Bowl guy.
I think they're going to use him for more of a return person, which got me kind of. I will say this: Cordell Patterson looked awfully slow on the returns.
He did. Well, Tim. He's your age. What's he, 44, Tim? How old is he?
He might be. But I am kind of curious to see how that game would have actually turned out if they would have caught that fake punt early in the game.
That's a gutsy call.
He had stones to do that, dude. And like, how do you drop that ball? You're in the NFL. TJ, I think I could have hailed that in. I think I could have. Being that open.
The question is, could you have gotten down the field far enough to actually get to where he threw that ball?
That's a different. If you would have like basically time warped me like right from like line of scrimmage to where he was to catch the ball.
Maybe.
I think I could have caught that ball.
Yeah, maybe.
I would have been out there. I would have been out there like Lucas in slow motion.
Yeah, I can't remember. So you had RUSS again. He was only 14 for 28 for $195. 3 TDs and a moonball pick, and he's been looking pretty solid for us.
He did look solid, man. There was a couple throws you're kind of like, I think there's a couple quick things that you're kind of like, but he looks solid, man.
I tell you get him in the red zone when he's scoring. Well, the difference this year with RUSS is instead of us settling for field goals, we're getting tutties.
Yeah, dude, and you got that demon 14.
Yeah,
dude, some of the stuff he does is like, he's so infuriating. I mean, because at some point in time, he's going to get flagged for some of the crap he does. Am I going crazy by thinking that?
No, like it's going to be. Did you see the one where the guy he picked the ball off? And I don't know what he did. It looked like he was like, what did he do? It looked like he was like doing a sumo throw. He looked
like Spider-Man. Like he just attacked the guy's face like a pit bull. Like he attacked the guy's neck. I'm going like at some point in time, that's going to. We're going to catch a 15-yarder like a critical time when he does that.
No, we are. No, he
gets like even some of the stuff he does. Like I saw the one play like he just grabbed the dude's face mask and just went like this. Like I'm like, at some point in time,
he's always a second from like losing it. He's always just a second from losing it. But I'll tell you what, like that touchdown he caught in the end zone. Insane. How somebody that big can move his body like that is just it's incredible to me.
He's like a ginormous Gumby doll. It's insane, dude. I just, but he, like, every time you see him on the field, you're like, dude, you just don't know how much George got left.
So Pickens is, I mean, he's
a lunatic.
He's going to step into this elite thing too, man. He was 5 catches, 95 yards, a tutty. We had 312 yards of total offense, which is fine. 140 yards rushing on a very good Commanders defense, and they held the Commanders. This is nuts. The Commanders Well, they were ranked third in the league in rushing. Held the Commanders to 60 yards rushing. Daniels, 3 carries, 5 yards.
TJ, they didn't need to. They didn't need to rush the ball because they were finding wide open gaps all over the field throwing the ball. TJ, I've never seen dudes. There was dudes when I say wide, they were wide open. I'm going. I just go, what is happening? Is there anybody covering the middle of the field at all?
I think they ended up holding them to, I think it was 200 yards, 260 total offense, which isn't bad. You got to remember this too, Tim. They had, I mean, 2 of their scores were, one was what they got the ball on the 14, and the other one was on like the 20 coming in.
I agree.
So they played on 2 short fields, which was
I know,
ridiculous.
but it's still. I didn't like seeing the pass defense look like it did.
Well, I mean, I think part of it was pressure, and part of it was this, man. You can't. I don't know how they can justify the amount of holds and stuff that they have on these guys. It's ridiculous. And how about the end of the game? You go out for the hard count. Everybody knows you're going for the hard count.
That dude,
Can you imagine you're that dude on the Commanders and you
my
jump?
first initial reaction was like, what an idiot. Like, what a dummy. Like, I'm going, like, even Melissa was sitting there at the time. She's going, well, I'm like, yeah, they're going to get the ball back, and I'm going to have to watch this dude go down. They're going to kick a 55-yard field goal. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting there. I was like, this guy's, everybody knew. Like, even like my daughter was even like, he's not going to jump. My daughter's 5.
You know what I did? I'll admit it to you. The first thing I did is I looked back and I said, did 77 jump? Did he flinch?
I did too. I'm going, I couldn't believe, like, I remember seeing the TV, like, you heard I could see Tomlin lip, don't snap the ball.
He even talked to the ref. He said, when he gets down to 1, we're calling the timeout. He already told the ref.
You got to be like, and I saw, like, the Commanders guys all like,
yeah,
all like patting that guy's head like, it's okay. I wouldn't do that. I'd be like, dude, you're an idiot. You're a dum-dum.
He was. It was bad. No, it was bad. But you know what he got, Tim? He went face to face with Mr. Unlimited, and he lost.
Do you think he just like he caught up, like, and he just like was sitting there and like he just looked up and just saw Danger Russ's eyes, and all he thought was like, Mr. Unlimited, dangerous, dangerous, the danger witch, and then he's like that.
Probably. It's probably exactly what happened. It was crazy. It was bananas.
What on God's creation made you think, if you're that dude, like, they're gonna actually snap this ball, like they're gonna go for it?
I have no idea. It's crazy. But and so all I know is this: the Steelers are now, what are we now? 7-2?
7-2, dude.
7-2. We're top of the AFC North. Now we move on to the hated Ravens. A lot of emotions in this game. Tim and I have been a part of this game. We've seen some great games. This is kind of unique because we've got players now that are intermixed on both sides. We've got former Steelers that are now with the Ratbirds, and we've got former Ravens that are now part of the Steelers. It adds to the mystique. Now, before we get to the Ravens, let's take a look at the YINZER mailbag. What is the YINZER mailbag? It's when you, the YINZER fans, get to ask us anything. You can ask your question by emailing us at yinzerbros@gmail.com. We will break down your question with all of the wisdom and the expertise that obviously these 2 YINZERs have. Tim, what do we have tonight in the YINZER mailbag?
I mean, the mush almost gave us like so much crap that we could go on a 4-hour show. I mean, so I'm going to try to pick some of the
highlights, Tim.
Okay.
We want low-hanging fruit tonight, things that we could just, knock out of the park, Tim.
How many of the was the 2010 divisional win? What was your best? Let me put it this way: what was your best Steeler-Raven game that you've ever witnessed, and where were you? Kind of
St. Lucia.
I know,
St. Lucia.
Man.
It was on the eve of your wedding, Tim. We're in St. Lucia. That's the greatest game I've ever seen against the Steelers. And we beat the Ravens in order to go to the Super Bowl, right?
TJ, I was probably 15 to 20 BBCs deep.
You were
out of my mind. That was the closest I've ever, like, just after that happened, was going into the ocean with all my clothes on. Thank God somebody stopped me, because I probably would have died on the eve.
It was pretty magical, Tim. It was pretty magical.
I mean, I just
It was
remember,
great.
yeah.
Tropical paradise. I didn't even think we were going to get in to see the game in time. Our father complained the whole
You guys
time.
did
Oh,
that. You guys got there the day of the game.
yeah. Well, we got there like within minutes that the game started. They started to play the game. It may have actually just started. No, it was right before it started. Yeah, maybe about an hour before
No,
it
you
started.
guys got there. You guys got there before the Eagle game started. Around when the Eagle game, 'cause the Eagle game was the first. Eagle Arizona game was the first game.
It was Dad. I remember Dad he was pretty upset. I said, Dad, don't forget we're here to see your son's wedding. He's like, yeah, but about that Steeler game. As every good Yinzer should.
I mean, yeah, that was probably. I mean, there's so many good ones, but that had to be.
I think that's the best.
It's
That
the
was
best.
great. When Troy intercepted that ball, I mean, dude, it was. I mean, what could be better? That was just the greatest.
It was incredible, man. I mean, that was a great game. The immaculate. What do they call it? The stretch with Antonio Brown. That was a pretty
Yes,
great game too.
that was a good one.
Um, but yeah, nothing tops. I mean, because you even had like the little stuff you'd even think of after that playoff game was like you had Troy, but they still had a chance to get the ball after that, and I think that's when Ryan Clark basically KO'd or night out. That was probably one of the most vicious hits I've ever seen in my entire life in a football game.
I didn't realize this. Do you know that I believe Ryan Clark was an undrafted free agent?
Yes, he was.
That's incredible to me. He made
I
a
mean,
pretty good career of that, and he's
I
a good commentator right now. I like
think
what he does.
think he's doing okay.
Yeah, I think he's doing fine. What else you got in the Yinzer mailbag? Timoteo.
Let me think here. He goes, how many quarterbacks have started at least one game for the Ravens at a time? Blah, 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 blah. I don't know what. Who is your most all-time hated Raven?
Hmm.
Oh, this is an easy question. This is an easy
you
question.
say Ray Lewis? Ray Lewis?
White suit? Yeah, white suit. 100% white suit.
He killed before he's one of the guys when he threatens he's going to be in your bushes. He could literally, Tim, be in your bushes.
There's two humans that I would be absolutely. There's three that I would be like crapping bricks, being terrified in an alley if it popped up.
So you got Ray Lewis
would be one.
Can I guess one? Mike Tyson?
Yeah. Mike Tyson would. He's TJ. I'm seeing clips of him now, and I'm like, this dude is. He's like 60 years old. Can you imagine getting in a boxing ring with him?
No. I would. There's no way. Who's your third?
I hit Brock Lesnar.
He's pretty scary too. Because they're real. These aren't fake people. They're real.
I know, dude. Like I said, if the aliens came down tomorrow and were like, "Hey, give us your big three." Harrison's up in that category too.
Yeah, Harrison's scary too.
I would shoot those guys out like the what are those the Infinity Stones? What are they? The Avengers or whatever? I'd be like, here, you guys take those dudes.
Do you remember when Harrison took out that dude running around to that Cleveland game?
That's
He's like, look at me.
That's a type of me running on the field where like I got 4 plays and some dude like Harrison clotheslined me to hell.
Can you imagine running into that dude? It's like, oh, I ran into that dude. It's like, holy crap.
If that would have me, like all the poop would have just left me and it would just fit on the field.
Yeah.
But back to Tyson, like, did you see the clip of him today with the interview with the little girl?
Yeah.
TJ, he hasn't been on his meds for at least a week, dude. He's gonna. I'm being
well, you gotta
serious.
get ready for the game. There's no meds anymore.
Have you heard some of his interviews this past week? It's like he doesn't even. He seems like crazy, Mike. Like
I know.
Like coming out of lockup, Mike. That's what it seems like.
It's scary. That's scary.
I can't.
It would have
wait
to be,
for that fight tomorrow.
It had to be Ray Lewis. I'm thinking of anybody else that's up there.
Terrell Suggs is up there too, man.
Yeah, Suggs was a thug, and then I mean Reed was kind of a punk.
I liked Reed. I didn't mind Reed.
Suggs was anybody offensively that you just don't like.
Anybody offensively?
I mean, I'm not a big Lamar Jackson fan.
I know a guy that I didn't like.
Yeah,
the one that beat up the women left and right down the street. The running back, I don't know his name. Ray Rice.
Ray Rice, yeah, that's true.
He wasn't a friendly foe of me.
No, he wasn't a good human at all.
He wasn't a good human at all. But to me, it's like I never think of offensive players in that game besides like Ben on our side, but like it's defensive dudes. I remember Nada.
Yeah,
he was a monster, but like
remember when he stepped on Ben's face?
I remember when he broke his nose.
Yeah.
Remember, he's come to size, no. remember that.
Did you see this year when they did the draft? He was up there calling the Ravens draft pick with his three kids. He goes, "We grew up in Baltimore." He goes, "And kids, what did we learn when we grew up in Baltimore?" And all three of them said, "Steelers suck." And I was like, "You got to give it up for that at least." He's got it.
I would have been like this to the to Holodinata, the tribal chief, and be like, "You're absolutely correct." But yeah, man, there's just to me, it's always going to be white suit. I don't even call him Ray Lewis. I just call him white suit. Yeah. And you know who I'm talking about. When I say white, it's scary when I say white suit and you know who I'm talking about.
You better pray to God he's listen to this podcast, Tim.
Wouldn't that be something? I walk out for
what
work.
You come down the stairs, you see on your ring Ray Lewis. What do you do, Tim?
I'd get on the intercom and be like, "Sir, could you please leave my house?" Or I'd probably get up and be like, "Excuse me, can I help you with something? Is this an Amazon delivery? What's going on? Why are you at my house so early in the morning?"
You would crap bricks. You'd be like,
I wouldn't, TJ.
Sure, hello.
TJ, I wouldn't leave this house for at least a month. Would
you answer the intercom, or would you make your wife answer the intercom?
I think my daughter hits the intercom.
I think you're right.
I'm like, "Don't tell him Daddy's here. Don't tell him Daddy's here."
My dad told me to tell you he's not here.
Exactly. As there's pee coming down my leg, and she's like, "Daddy, is that good? Was that good?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Because I'm sure if you call the Chicago police, there'll be a lot of help, won't they?
Yeah.
What's the Gotham police going to do?
Sure. They'll be like, "We'll be there in a couple of days. It's fine." Like, excuse me?
All right. What else you got in the Yinzer mailbag, Tim?
Oh, my gosh.
The Gotham police.
Yeah. He got into the weeds about some, the different quarterbacks in each one of these games, which I'm not going to go through. I don't care. So he also said how many Steeler quarterbacks in this rivalry went through, and he goes, among them, Kent Graham, Michael Vick, Landry Jones. Trust me.
Kent Graham, he stinks.
He lives by me, and I think he goes to my gym. And every time, if I ever see him again, I'm going to be like, "You owe Tom Harris a check for 20
He stole money.
grand."
He stole money.
I think for
How
2
long
years.
Was he with us? A couple years?
Yeah, I'm like you owe a check to Tom Harris for at least $3,500 for season's tickets, buddy, because you took his money. You took a hard working man's money for nope, and you just left like the Burger King.
He stunk. No, he was terrible.
Yeah. Yes. He also, I guess, lastly, he goes, "Please do not bring up the Bear on the pod unless it's an example of the worst football franchise you can be. They are dead to me." And I said to this mush, if they are dead to you, don't come a waving a gold towel for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because I don't need none of that.
Dude, the Bears are terrible.
You
talk about a dysfunctional organization.
This has been the greatest 3 weeks I have had in Illinois, period, in football season. Steelers are kicking people's tails left and right, and everything I said about the Bears, it came true. I'm like, it's great.
You're like Nostradamus, Tim. You're like Nostradamus.
TJ, it's. I didn't think it could get any worse after the Hail Mary game until this last week. I went into work and people, they didn't even want to show their faces. I said, "Put bags on all your faces. Everybody here."
It's bad. It's bad.
I got my buddy who's a meatball Bears fan to the core. He is so defeated. It's like watching puppies get kicked all the time. It's incredible, man.
Hey.
These people out here, it's hilarious.
How many top draft picks do you need to just flush down the toilet?
They may get this may be the third year in a row they get the first pick of the draft. They should just name the first pick. Just change the name to the War of the Chicago Bear pick. That's what it is.
You're right. They're bad.
It's just bad. Hilarious, man.
I saw the picture. Did you see the picture they had of Caleb Williams? And then they also had the same one as for Justin Fields. They're on the bench, both with their heads back.
TJ, my guess is you could probably go back to Mitch Trubisky, to all it's the same. TJ, it's the same cycle. I've never seen anything like the cycle they've had for the past 10 years. It's the same thing. Like, you get a new quarterback, you fire the coach, You keep the GM for that, and then you hire a new coach. Then you fire the GM. It's the same thing. They're doing it over and over. I'm like, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's a
They got
great
to find a
watch.
good. They should hire like a Vrabel or somebody. Get a decent coach that's at least going to stabilize you.
They will never
Okay.
hire a coach bigger than the name of the Bears. I heard a podcaster say it absolutely correctly, and I think it's going to be hilarious when I see it. They're going to hire Lincoln Riley from USC. The dude for Penn State is going to go to USC, the coach for Penn State, and the guy from Indiana, who's from Pittsburgh, YINZER, is going to go to Penn State. And the Bears are going to get the worst out of that whole entire deal. They're still going to suck.
Yeah,
It's
you might
going to be
right.
great. USC will get brought back up to prominence. Penn State will probably win the national title, and the Bears will continue to suck.
Yeah, they're bad. What else you got? What else you got in the Yinzer mailbag? Tim?
That's
Anything
it.
else there?
That's it. But I don't know what the Bears are going to do. I just think it's very comical, man.
It is.
I'm here for every inch of it.
You are. That's what's nice living in enemy territory. Again, if you like what you hear, you want to ask anything, you can email us at yinzerbros@gmail.com, and hopefully you can get your question on our international podcast. Let's talk about the Ravens. Tim, Lamar's having another good year. He's looking like he could be the MVP again this year.
Yeah.
He's always a bridesmaid, never a bride. So who knows what's going on? Henry's having a pretty ridiculous year. Let's look at the Ravens offense. Their offense is a juggernaut offense. What do the Steelers need to do to shut down, or at least to slow down, the Ravens offense?
I don't know. I have no answers for this, TJ. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't.
What do you think is the magic number where the offense, they got to keep the offense to? They're not going to keep them to nothing.
23.
23? I think that's possible. I mean, they've classically done well against Lamar. They've classically done well against Henry.
Yeah, but they've done those when those pieces aren't together.
Yeah.
That's Henry is not the one that's. I'm going to say this now, and he's probably going to rush for 250 yards. He's not the one that scares me. For some odd, their tight ends both scare the crap out of me. I just see I just watch it. I just saw dudes just running free in the middle of the field. And between that and how much I keep thinking Deontay Johnson's going to have a back-breaking incompletion drop for those guys, something's going to happen. It's poetic justice. Something's going to happen that he's going to come up with a clutch third down. I'm going to go. It's going to be over the dude they traded him for somehow, some way. I have that. It's in my gut.
I don't think the dude they traded him for is going to be covering him at all, because he's not. It'll be, he'll be somewhere doing something inside, sneaky, for whatever even gets on there. I'm impressed with this week too. Again, and we'll talk. I like, we found out this week. Patrick Queen said that the Ravens didn't even put an offer on the table, and he is like, I've been watching. I think Queen every week is getting better and faster and better and faster. And you talk about motivation. And he's going to be covering those tight ends in the middle of the field. And I mean, I knew he was fast. That one play against Daniels, when he beat him to the corner, I was like, I can't believe this. And we know that Wilson is fast. And you put your thumper in there, your tooth chipper against, when Henry's running. I think they've done well against. I think they're just in Lamar's head, and I don't know why. I don't know if he just doesn't like the pressure around him. I don't know what the deal is.
They have to be able to get pressure with just 4.
Yeah,
I think if you start having to blitz Lamar, you're going to be in for a long day.
Well, and I think too. I mean, so it's not just getting that pressure from the sides, but getting that pressure up the middle. And I'll tell you what, Cam is like. It's like he's been drinking out of the fountain of youth. He is.
I know, man.
He is scary up the middle right now. Scary.
Yes.
And it maybe, as they taste it and there's more blood in the water, maybe they'll do it again. Zay Flowers makes me a little nervous. He's smaller and quicker. He's got more of an AB feel to him, which I don't know how, I don't know how Peasy's going to do with that. He's a little handsy. He's a big guy. I don't know. Yep. I mean, he's young, he's fast, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't. You're right. I think the tight ends make me a little nervous too.
They do, man. And I mean, I think the defense, TJ Watt's going to have a TJ Watt type game. He can't be. I know he had the pressure where he got held at in Washington, but other than that, man, he was. I know he was getting chipped. He's getting double teamed. He was nowhere to be found.
Dude, they saw a stat on how many times he was triple teamed, which is ridiculous. So if you're triple teaming him, somebody else has got to get to him. Now,
that's what's driving me nuts. I would expect. I mean, Highsmith should have had a field day, and I think he had one sack. I think.
Yeah.
Did he have one? You gotta
So
get
this
there.
is my thing. And I think again, was it they got Prescott? He's a good pickup. I think what's going to help us a lot too is Herbig coming back. It looks like he's going to be back.
It does, but you can't. You're only going to be able to probably put him in on passing downs because if he's in first down, second down,
No, he
if
can't
I'm
be.
done, I'm running
Oh yeah,
Henry directly
he
at
can't
him.
be. But I think if you put him on passing downs, his lateral movement, he's so fast that I think he's just going to harass. If he can keep Lamar uncomfortable, that's all you got to do. Keep him
I will
uncomfortable.
tell you, the tight end scare me, but the other guy that scares me is I think is Justice, the other kind of speedy back that they have.
Yeah.
I just have visions of him catching dump off passes and just eat us alive this half this game, man.
It may be. Again, it might be a bend but not break.
Yeah.
I like that. I think I'm with you at the point total. I think if they can keep them to, 21, 23 points, I think it's good. Let's flip over, talk a little bit about the Steeler offense. And this is weird. The Raven defense is decent against the run. Against the pass, they're ranked.
They're number one against the run in the league.
I know, and they're ranked the worst against the pass, which is incredible to me.
Here's my thing. Like, there's two things to this. When the Steelers were a great run defense, people just lined up and passed against them, like so Brady did, because you knew you weren't going to run. Also, with the Ravens, they put up so many points. Teams are usually playing from behind a lot of times, so it's like, nobody's running on them. They're going to pass, and maybe that's why their pass defense is absolutely atrocious. I don't know, man. Like the Bengals didn't. They threw the ball. Burrow threw the ball like 65 times.
Yeah. I mean, he's Joe Burrow. But I mean, even the games that they lost, and they probably should have lost against the Bengals, but the other games that they lost, I mean, they made pedestrian teams look like world beaters. I mean, the Browns are not good. And
I agree,
they made him look like an all pro. And and the Raiders are not good.
But to me, you got to get some type of run because those offenses, I'd say the Browns maybe are a little bit different because at least they were able to run. You got crossings and some of that short game. With us, it's that moonball game, and half you're getting that moonball game is you're running the ball to get you out of a too high set. So to me, it's like they got to get some type of running game going.
They're going to run. They're going to run, and they're going to do play action, which is that'll be the formula. I think again, you're going to see the moon balls. There's no doubt. I don't know if they have an answer for. I mean, what's going to be their answer for Pickens? I don't know if they have an answer for him. And you add Mike Williams. That's a big thing. I mean, here's the question: do you think are the Steelers? I think this is unique with Russ Wilson. I think the Steelers could enter a shootout. When's the last time we thought that the Steelers could enter a shootout? 2018. I mean, you're talking a while ago.
I agree. I mean, yeah, but one thing I will say, Ravens can get after the quarterback gets me nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I think the biggest key to this game is that maybe a shootout, but I'd feel way more comfortable if Kyle Hamilton's not playing.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's playing or not.
He practiced a little bit today, but he looked bad. He wasn't a full participant. He was he was limited.
So I think that's a big thing too. But I also saw that Jaylen Warren didn't practice today because he had back spasms.
He'll be fine.
That gets me a little nervous.
Yeah, he'll be fine. You know what he needs to do? Warren needs to hold on to the balls. What he needs to do.
They should have called that play dead.
They should have, but he needs to hold on to the ball to the very end. You just got to hold on to it.
I agree.
What I'm curious is this. Who are the refs are they gonna favor somebody in this game? Because classically they kind of treat us and the Ravens kind of the same level. Who do you give the coach's edge to?
I don't know. I don't want to answer this question.
The toss up?
I think it is.
I think Harbaugh in these games as a coach is terrible against the Steelers. I don't know why he turns.
But here's the thing that's crazy. It's like, and I know that they've been 7-1 against them, but you always had that thing to lean back on was Ben. You're like, oh, they got Ben, and you're always going against some bum quarterback for the Flacco.
But when have they had for the last 8 games? How many of those did we have Ben for?
I agree with TJ. At some point in time,
Kenny Pickett,
Lamar's not going to play bad at one point. It's just the law of averages. At some point in time, he's going to have a good game.
Well, I get that, but can I throw out a theory? This is a theory that I have. So the Steeler-Raven, that game is as close to playoff atmosphere as you're probably going to see and experience. And this is what I've noticed with Lamar. There are certain guys that could do it all season long and they're great, but when you get into the playoffs, they change. Like a Kirk Cousins, like they kind of just level out. A Phillip Rivers,
Hmm.
they change. I think that pressure gets to him. Now there may be a time that he breaks through. I think that's what makes when you look at like Mahomes and those guys, the pressure doesn't get to them. Even to a degree, even Allen. They had that one shootout game with the Chiefs that one year. But other than that, when they get into the playoffs, into those deep things, these guys, they get tight, they get nervous. I just think Lamar gets tight, he gets nervous, and he until you punch through that, I think it's going to be. He reminds me a little bit like Donovan McNabb, where he was great in the post, and then you get to the end of it, he just can't punch through. It's the weirdest thing. I don't know why. It's just the weirdest thing.
I think that first game last year where they played the Ravens, dude, their receivers dropped like 10 balls.
I get it.
So that I
I,
don't
I
blame that
think
on
what
Lamar.
happens, I think he tries to at some point, in either if guys are dropping balls or whatever, I think he tries to do too much. And when he tries to do too much is when he gets into trouble.
And that's the key. You got to keep the game close because at some point in
Mhm.
time, I agree with you. I think he's going to do something. He's going to give you one at some point in time
He will.
if you keep the game close.
He will.
But to me, the one thing that I would be absolutely petrified if I'm a Ravens fan, especially in this game, is Justin Tucker. That dude's been bad. He's been bad. And when is the last time the Steeler-Raven game hasn't been a one-score game?
You're right. You're totally right. He is. You talk about it. It's hard to imagine how bad he's been, but he has been bad.
He's been brutal, man.
He has.
He's been brutal. To me, it's like that again. I don't know when the last time it wasn't a one-score game between these two,
Yeah.
and I feel a hell of a lot more comfortable having Boz
Oh, absolutely.
than Tucker right now. So I don't know. I'm hoping like I said, in my brain it makes all the sense. You see their passing defense. It's terrible to go out there and be throwing the ball everywhere. But every time I say that, somehow the team's like, oh, they come up and they're fine. It's for that day they're great against us playing the pass.
So you know what's funny? And these are my two little thoughts with this that I think will give them the advantage, the coaching advantage. I think Arthur Smith schematically has done a ridiculous job this year.
Mhm.
He's schematically, you have the moon ball, I get all that,
Yep.
but he's also, if you look at the stuff he's doing underneath, he's creating space for, the Austins, or all these guys to just to get open, which is
Yep.
great. We haven't seen that forever. And the second one that I just think is just, I don't know, Tomlin is coaching different. Tomlin last game did a fake punt on his own 15. So whether he does it or not, what it does now, it puts a seed into these guys' heads saying, wait a second, I always know what Tomlin's going to do. You can't say that right now because you're not sure. Dude, he did against not a crappy opponent, a good
No.
opponent. When's the last time any coach did something like that? That's something like every once in a while you see a Belichick do or
Yep.
somebody that's off the chain. So that kind of upsets the balance of coaching where you're like, well, how far will he go to
Yep.
mess things up, to do things? So I think it's like, I think Harbaugh sometimes gets into trouble because he overcoaches, he overanalyzes himself, he overcoaches himself, and that's what gets him in trouble. And that's the
You'll
perfect formula for this.
you'll know real quick how Tomlin's coaching this game because I don't know if it was because A, he was going against a rookie quarterback, or B, he was going to, and I mean, you just heard the way he talked after the game, Mr. Jackson. I just hope he doesn't turn into that. I'm hoping he doesn't try to make this into a rock fight.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping it's not.
I don't think
It
he
doesn't
will
turn
because
into.
I think he knows it's a different game. But I do love, you know what, too, man, and you got to love him. You talk about psychological warfare. They get, he's like this when he calls him Mr. Jackson. You know what that also does too? That takes the other guys, and that's why everybody wants to play for him.
I
What the
know.
heck? Now he did throw a little bit of shade, I think, to Deontay Johnson.
That's another thing that gets me nervous. I got that. I'm going. Oh, here we go, Coach T. Here we go.
But you know
Between
what?
that, you got
Deontay can't
Deshaun
throw the ball
Elliott.
to himself.
You got Deshaun Elliott, who I love, but he's like telling telling Miami their team was soft and they have the bad pass defense in Baltimore. I'm going. Can we just shut up for just shut up and line up and play ball for a week, dude?
So I,
That's all
I
I
do know
want.
this. This is going to be a defining game for them. If they can come through this and beat these
Oh,
guys,
TJ,
it's a big deal.
if they beat this team, yeah, you got to be the Soupy. Soupy could be on. I'm gonna be awful. Soupy's gonna be on my mind immensely. Soupy. Oh yeah, and in this game, I wouldn't. To me, I think this may be the perfect game to kind of see a Justin Fields package pop up because it would be great now. And then you plant that seed as you're going on this run that it could be a couple times you could put Fields in to run around would be electric. Just another thing to prepare for because but they haven't been 3 or 4 weeks haven't seen the field.
Yeah,
I wonder if teams are actually preparing for it anymore.
yeah.
This may be one where they didn't prepare for it. Oh crap, we got the road runner in. You may see him with a couple packages, but I don't know, man.
I think it's good. So what's your score prediction?
Dude, I heard something today that the last time these teams went over 28 points was maybe 2016 or 17. Every other game has been under 21 points, which is, gee, that's a crazy stat.
It is.
That's crazy.
It is.
It's a crazy stat. And it wasn't even like 17 was the anomaly. I think every other, there was only like really 1 year in the past, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years that it's been over like 21, 23 points, something like that, which is crazy
Yeah.
when you think about it. Man, I've been going back and forth about this, and I think the Steelers are going to win, but it's going to be like a 2017 game. They're going to win. It's going to be a field goal. Boss field goal at the end.
I think it's going to be. I'm gonna say that the trend continues with Russ. I'm gonna say it's going to be 31-21.
I mean,
I think Lamar's still going to get. I think they're going to hit 20. But I think the Steeler offense is humming, and I think this is going to be a big test for them. But I think it's humming, and I think they're getting guys back at the right time. I like what I see from the line. Um, I just think they're humming. You got Cordell, I think Patterson's going to come back. He's going to kind of bolster up the running attack. I like what I see. Jalen's starting to look like Jalen again, which is good. We'll see Najee was a little dinged up this week, but he's still running angry, which is good. And I think Russ he elevates everybody around him. I don't see any reason why he won't continue to kind of push it forward. And I'll tell you what, I still think the, the secret to the sauce has been Arthur Smith. I love his schematics. Here's my fear. My fear is that somebody's going to say, we love Arthur Smith schematics too, and he's going to get another head coaching opportunity like right after this year. I hope it's not the case. I hope they pass him over for a couple of years.
We'll see. Could be an arty party here in Chicago. That'd be a classic Chicago hire. He'd probably stink coming here. I don't know, man. Like, there's so many variables to this game. Like I said, I want to see Mike Williams play on the opposite side of. I hope I don't see him 3 plays a game, because to me, if you have those two dudes on the rails,
6'4", 6'3".
It's time for Frymuth. It's time for Frymuth to have a game, because if you have those two guys on the rails on the outside and they're playing that 2 deep shell, middle of the field should be wide open.
Oh, yeah.
So you better either run the ball or Frymuth needs to start making it. I mean, he's doing okay. He needs to start making his money. So
I think you're right. You got Fryermuth underneath, and then you run those quick little things underneath with Austin. Dude, the middle of the field should be wide open. Even you run those guys off, even those dumps to Najee and especially Warren. You're gobbling up things at 20 to 40 yard clips, which is those two guys to have two big receivers like that. They can go up and get it. They're contest. They're ball combat guys. That catch that Williams made was not an easy catch.
I understand.
Austin doesn't make that catch. Van Jefferson, as sure as heck doesn't make that catch.
I say all this stuff, and you say Lamar's and Russ played good, but to me, the Steeler-Raven games always come down to the trenches.
Yeah,
and it's going to come down to if the Ravens are forced to blitz to get pressure on Russ, we're going to do well. If we got to blitz Lamar, I think we're in trouble. So
We don't classically. I mean, they'll have somebody spy him. They'll probably have Wilson spy him, I'm guessing, or Queen.
but to me, when I say that, it all comes down to that whoever can get pressure without having to send people.
Mm-hmm.
That's who's going to win this game. So it's going to come to me. It's going to come down to the trenches, and I think I'll know after Series 2 of where this game is going to be directed.
I think it's part trenches, but I also think the Steelers have. I think they got one of the best back ends in football, and I think that's going to do them well. I think they just
secondaries.
Yeah,
you're cray, dude.
No, I think they do. I think when you combine that with the pressure they put up front, they don't have to keep those guys locked down for 4 seconds.
If I have to see Pierre playing a game again,
mm-hmm.
we have issues.
Pierre came in because there was an injury. I mean, he came in.
That dude Jackson to me has been trending down in a downward spiral since about week 2.
I still think he's solid, and then I think you know what, they're going to get some reinforcements coming back up too.
That's the $1 million question. Is I know the Trice they just activated. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's going to play this game. I would feel really great if he was playing this game. That's a dude that's going to be key.
Even putting Cam up, you know, you got Cam now that if you give him enough time to go in, he could go outside too if he needs to. You know, just as pinch.
Which I was kind of stunned they didn't have him play a little bit on the outside because Pierre was getting kind of ate.
Well, here's the reality with him. So he was, you know, he hasn't been practicing with the team. I don't even think he's up to game speed and game shape yet. It's going to take him 2 or 3 weeks to get there. Now, here's the nice thing with him, though, too. He hasn't been beat up for the first half of the season, so he's pretty fresh. But that doesn't mean he's in shape. He's not in shape like us, Tim.
He's not 4 plays in shape like me.
Yeah, that's right.
So we'll see. Like I said, I'm hoping Trice could be big if he
can stay healthy. He's going to be a good addition.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you got for the YINZER Bros this week. If you like what you hear, please like, subscribe, pass it on to all your friends, spread the word so the YINZER Bros can get some love. Again, we're the YINZER Bros. I'm TJ. The hard hat guy's Tim. Stay classy, Pittsburgh.
Still number 1 out here. All right.
See ya.